Hi, my name's Tony Costello. I'm the Social Value and Engagement Manager at Galliford Try. Today I'm with 3B Training in Hindley, Wigan to discuss CSCS.
I'm Matt Bewley, so I'm the Managing Director at 3B Training. I was the founder and set us up sort of just over 10 years ago. When Tony approached us to discuss, CSCS and what it was all about, I jumped at the chance, but thought I'd better bring a colleague as well just to help me along the way.
I'm Simon Booth, Business Development Manager for 3B Training. So my remit, I look after the clients northwest based and further afield, some of our national clients as well. And obviously me and sort of my team, we look after the advice to the customers about CS and other training opportunities.
So today I'm going to put them both on the spot just for you. I'm going to ask questions about CSCS. Okay, the first question, what is CSCS?
Right, CSCS, so it's a construction skills certification scheme. In a nutshell, the industry needed something, one standard scheme that proved people's competencies, whether that you're an operative or a labourer on site, right the way through to sort of senior managers. CSCS run coloured cards, so depending on what qualifications and competencies you've got, you then can use those skills and qualifications that you've achieved to get the correct coloured card to prove that you're competent within that role that you do.
As a major contractor in the construction industry, CSCS plays a big part for us out on site. And obviously we've got a long number of job roles, probably over 150. How are the routes into CSCS?
So there's loads of different routes into CSCS. I think depending on the skills that you have and depending on what job role that you take and responsibilities you take on that site. One of the major routes obviously is a provisional card if someone's going to enrol on an apprenticeship route or gain an MVQ. So you have to start somewhere. They start with the touchscreen test, which enables them to be health and safety tested, and then you pursue the route that you need to. So we started with the red card. There's a green card, blue card, gold card, black card, white card, and so on and so forth. And obviously, depending on the qualifications that you require to get that card, takes you on your path.
So Simon alluded to the health and safety test. So what is the health and safety test?
So the construction or the CITB health and safety touchscreen test is a test that tests all operatives, managers who basically work on a construction site. They do the test from a health and safety point of view. So the test is set at whatever level of role that you're working at on site. So they're all consisted of 50 questions. It's all done on a touch screen, so you'll turn up. You've got 45 minutes to complete the test, and it generally covers 5 areas within the industry. So things like legal and management, welfare on site, general health and safety duties as well. And then there'll be some job specific questions and scenarios that you'll need to answer based on the role that you do.
So I'm approached 3B and I want to do my health and safety test. Can you talk me through what happens next?
Yeah, of course. So the CITB have a hotline, a phone number. Obviously, you can book that online as well. You can go through their online portal. But essentially, they're administered by Pearson VUE. So there's a Pearson VUE testing centre pretty much in every town in the country. So you'll book said operative or manager, supervisor on the test. They'll get a specific time of when to go to that testing centre. They'll turn up. They'll check their ID, and there's quite a stringent policy to get people in terms of identification. And then, as Matthew says, they will go and perform the test, do the test, and they get the results straight away.
So how do I revise for it? Is there any material?
There's a few ways you can do it. It also depends on the level that you're going for. So CITB have a suite of courses, SMSTS, Triple STS. They then have a health and safety awareness. So let me just explain. If you're a manager or a supervisor, you'll need your SMSTS and Triple STS. You don't need to have those to go and get your touchscreen test or to go and get a CSCS card after, but doing those courses will help you achieve a pass if you're doing your management test, for instance. If you're an operative or a labourer, you'll need to do your health and safety awareness, which is a 1-day course. Once you've done that course, then you will go and do your test at your Pearson View Centre, essentially. So those courses will then help you. There's also revision material you can get, so you can get that and download it, and you can buy a book. There's also apps that the CITB have produced. You can go and get those. But ultimately, as long as you've done one of those courses, they are generally in preparation for your CSCS test.
So how much does it cost for me to do the test?
So at the moment, the test is £21. Obviously, that's booked directly with CITB or Pearson View. So you can go direct to the testing centres, but a lot of them are privately owned. So a bit of a tip: use the number, go through the Pearson View, or you get charged more. Essentially, you get charged more as an administration fee.
If I go and take the test and I fail it, how quick can I come back to do the test again?
Based on availability. So
Right.
obviously each testing centre has like slots that are filled, time slots from 8 in the morning through to 5 at night. So it depends on availability at the testing centre, which is available online and through the telephone number.
So I'm guessing a lesson learned is if we don't revise, we're not going to pass. It's just like taking my driving test.
Absolutely. CSCS typically over the last few years is actually really, there's maybe a bit of criticism around it, and actually that it was, you just turned up, you didn't need to do any revision and you'd pass. Those days have definitely gone. Right. Now it is a case of you do need to revise. And that's the whole point of it. It was put together to make sure that everybody working on a construction site is safe. That's the whole point of the scheme. So everybody you're working with, all your colleagues are competent at what they're doing from a safety point of view. Right. You don't do one of those courses, I'm not saying you wouldn't pass, but it would be a lot harder for you to pass.
Okay, so we're going to do a few scenarios now to bring the CSCS card to life. So I'm going to be a labourer. So what do I need to do as a labourer to get my CSCS card?
So the labourer card is obviously the green card that we were talking about. So there's various different routes into that. Essentially, as Matthew said, the operatives test is the one that gets you the green card. However, it's not just that you need. So there's sort of partner schemes to that, what they would call like an exemption. So the one that we deliver is the CITB Health and Safety Awareness, which is a 1-day course. Very, very similar format, very similar questions to the touchscreen. But yeah, to get a green card, you'll need to sit that course amongst others. So there's a IOSH Working Safely course. NPOs also do their own 1-day course. But essentially, the most common one is the health and safety awareness.
So I'm now a tradesperson, joiner, bricklayer, plasterer, painter, etc., etc. How do I go about getting a card?
Okay, so the process is the same with the test. You would then go and do the test that you need to do. And generally you would be looking at a level 2 or a level 3 if you're doing your advanced craft, for instance. If you're doing it once you've done your test, you will need to have something like an MVQ, or you might do it the other way around. You might already have your qualification, and if you do, you go and do your test, and you would then go and get your blue card, for instance, which is your level 2. If you're going into being a trade, what you'll probably need to do though is go into a college and do something like that. So you would then go and pick the qualification you want to do. So if you want to be a joiner, bricklayer, plasterer, painter, decorator, whatever it might be, you would do the qualification. And then as you're going through that qualification, you would do your touchscreen test. You would probably get a provisional card first, which will be red, and then eventually that will get converted to blue.
Right, okay. So we've heard about the other two scenarios. I'm now a site manager. How does it work for me, the CSCS card?
So the card for a manager is a black card. So obviously industry recognised. People say it's like gold dust. People, if you get hold of a black card, it's like gold dust. Normally the site managers have worked within the industry for quite some time. So they're very, very experienced people. Obviously they know the trade inside and out. At this moment in time, to gain a black card, obviously it's the MVQ level 6, either in site management or site contracting operations. So that's the route for the black card. If they've already got a black card and they've had prior experience or prior qualifications, as long as they keep that card up to date and they keep doing the touchscreen test, then that card can be renewed.
So we've learnt about the different routes into the card, but obviously we've got a health and safety test. How long does that stay valid for?
So 2 years essentially, 24 months.
Okay, so then after that, I've applied for my CSCS card. How long does that stay valid for?
So once you've got your card, that's for 5 years. So the way it works, once you've done your test, you get a certificate, you get your results on your day. So that's the bit that's valid for 2 years. If you then don't apply for your card, that then expires and you'll have to go through the process again. Once you've got your card though, it's essentially extended to the 5 years.
Oh, okay. And if I was to lose my card, is there a process for getting a new one?
Yeah, basically speak to CSCS direct. Obviously, they've just been taken over by NOCN job cards, who look after the scheme. But yeah, essentially you contact them directly using obviously your own personal information, whether that be national insurance number, your CSCS number as well as your registration number you can use. Speak to them directly and they'll reissue another card.
So you mentioned earlier about the £21 for the test. Then I'm paying out for the book and the app so I can learn. But how much does the card actually cost?
The card application's £36.
Okay. CSCS isn't as straightforward as what we think, but obviously there's affiliated schemes. What are the affiliated schemes?
So there's a whole host, obviously, that cover all different types of trade within the construction industry. But obviously, just to name a few, scissors would be the accreditation for scaffolders. So it's a CSCS affiliated scheme. Another one would be CPCS, which covers plant operators for diggers, dumpers, rollers, etc.
You also have MPAWS, so very similar to CPCS, but that's affiliated scheme, which then can lead to a CSCS card. You've also then got your trades, electricians, so they work through ECS, and you've got your plumbers that work through JIB.
So I'm a work coach. I know a little bit about CSCS, but I've obviously got a job seeker sat with me now who wants to get the CSCS card. What advice can you give me?
I think the first thing I would look to do is have a look at what skills and qualifications that individual has. So I'd look at the qualifications first, see if they've done any sort of training in the past, that might link them to a job role. And if you can do that, then you can start maybe mapping things across and talking about certain roles that you might have that could be suitable for that person. I think if that fails and they don't necessarily have sort of the qualifications, I would then start looking at the work experience. Have they worked as a manager in the past? Have they maybe not been a bricklayer, but they might have been a hog carrier, or a bricky's mate, those sorts of things. And then once you can start seeing, we can start seeing some links here, that then would start pointing the direction of this individual could take this route. And then you can start giving advice then about the required route into that trade.
It's been great sat with Matt and Simon today, but obviously we've used a lot of abbreviations. So just to finish off today, I'm just going to ask a few questions about the abbreviations. So Simon, are you going to go first?
Under pressure, yeah.
You are under pressure, yeah. You get a point for everyone.
Okay.
Scissors.
Construction Industry Scaffolders Record Scheme.
NPAWS.
National Plant Operators Record Scheme.
Impressive. ECS.
Electrotechnical Certification Scheme.
And JIB.
The Joint Industry Board.
Right, Matt, follow that. You have got
Go on.
SSSTS.
So that's Site Supervisor Safety Training Scheme.
SMSTS.
So that's the Site Management Safety Training Scheme.
And one more, CPCS.
So that's the Construction Plant Certification Scheme.
I just want to take this time to thank Matt and Simon and 3B Training for obviously assisting us today. So thank you, gents.
No problem at all. Happy to help.
No problems, thank you.